Hey guys, Ben here and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be breaking down the Superman trailer, so we're going to talk about all the Easter eggs, all the little bits and pieces that we need to talk about and theorize about certain scenes and the context around what's happening. So if you do go on to enjoy the video, please be sure to leave a like and a comment and subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any future videos later this year. So we're making lots of Superman content as we lead up to the film being released this summer. So make sure you don't miss any content that I'm making. I made a couple of videos in the last couple of days. Go check them out if you haven't watched them. But let's go ahead and break down the trailer. So the first shot of the trailer is of this kind of icy tundra. We know they shot in Norway. And Superman comes crashing down. He's lying there beaten, bloody, and barely breathing. And you're like, okay, wow, what a way to start a trailer. You're not expecting that. With Superman, you think he's all powerful. He can withstand anything, so seeing him bleeding, quite heavily bleeding to be honest, it's quite the surprising start. And obviously you don't really know the context around this because all the other shots that are featuring this icy tundra, I guess you could call it, are just of Superman and Krypto, and you don't see what's knocked him down or who he's been fighting. However, I think we can speculate that it could be the engineer because we know the engineer was present whilst they were shooting in Norway, the actor who is playing the engineer. So we'll have to wait and see as to what exactly goes down. But with him lying on the ground, he calls for Krypto and he whistles, and that's when Krypto arrives as he comes running across that icy landscape. And wow, how cute is that dog? He shows up and he's all happy and everything. He's got the little cute cape on. I mean, that is the cutest dog really, and he is all powerful because he is Krypto the super dog, and it's so good to see him in live action. Like, this is actually a funny yet serious take on Krypto, where they're actually going to make him comic accurate in a way. You know, they're going to give him powers and everything. It's a bit ridiculous, but at the same time it's just really cool because he's such a iconic character in the Superman comics. And so he drags him to what I presume will be the fortress, and later in the trailer we'll talk about it, but you see the fortress at a couple of points. But also in the trailer we see Clark Kent as he enters the Daily Planet. Now let's talk about his haircut, because his haircut is quite crazy. It looks like he's got a perm or maybe a wig on, I'm not exactly sure, it kind of looks like a wig. But he is really tall, he's imposing, despite being quite innocent, because, you know, he is wearing his normal Clark Kent outfit, and he's quite clumsy. That's just the way that Superman is, as Clark is normally just so unassuming, and that's why no one would even fathom to think, oh, he could be Superman. And the new theme kicks in. It's a rendition on the original Superman theme, but it's all played on a guitar, and it actually sounds very epic in an almost very James Gunn way. Like, it does remind me of the music that he's used in previous films like Guardians of the Galaxy, just in the way that it's quite electronic, it's quite almost cosmic in a way. Like, if you guys understand what I'm saying, like, it's big, it feels like it's reverberating all over the place. I don't even know if that's the right word, but it just sounds epic. So this is over the whole trailer. And I should note that it's actually a different part of the score than what you heard previously in the teaser for the teaser trailer, and that music was very emotional and it's very Superman at its heart, and I really love that theme as well. So looking forward to hearing more of the score as we head towards the film. Now let's talk about Lois and Clark, because you see both of them at the Daily Planet. Rachel Brosnahan really looks the part. She looks like Lois Lane from the comics. She looks like the original Lois Lane. Clark, he just looks like a young Henry Cavill. That's what David Corenswet looks like, and I'm really digging all that they're doing here, because I think they both look like Clark and Lois, that kind of typical look. And you see them at the Daily Planet, and they already know each other by the start of the film. Not sure if they got their relationship. I presume they're already in a relationship by the start, but this is supposed to be a Superman story that's not an origin story. He's been around for a while, I don't know how long, but it's all very familiar. Like, you see familiar characters, like you see Clark and his dad in Smallville, which is nice to see Smallville, so we're going to see a bit of that as well. And obviously you have the rest of the cast. Like, it wasn't included in this trailer, but in the teaser for the teaser trailer, there is that shot of Lois and Jimmy and all the other characters who are a big part of the Daily Planet crew. But the trailer really gets started as Superman saves a young girl from flying objects that are going everywhere, that have been hit by some sort of huge monster or kaiju, I guess you could call them. And I don't know exactly what type of monster it is, but yeah, it's pretty imposing, and that's just an epic slow motion shot. Then we get our first look at Lex Luthor, who is at Luthor Corp, and he is holding a gun at one point in the trailer, so you see various shots of Nicholas Hoult. Looking forward to his take on the character. He definitely looks like that kind of classic Lex Luthor, a bit of a younger Lex Luthor, kind of like Jesse Eisenberg compared to what we've got recently with Superman Lois and also with John Cryer on Supergirl. He's definitely a bit older than Nicholas Hoult, so I'm liking what I'm seeing, looking forward to that. Now, I wanted to talk about the shots in the trailer because this is something that people have been talking about. They've been talking about the color grading, saying it looks like the CW. I mean, you can't really make that comparison anymore because the CW really transcended with Superman Lois. Like, Superman Lois looks amazing. The whole show is incredible. And so I don't think that CW look that people were kind of referring to, they're talking about, you know, a kind of lower quality film or a lower quality show with a smaller budget than say like an HBO Max show or something like that. So I understand what people were saying, but that was just like one snippet, and it wasn't even like a super high quality 4K footage. But if you look at this trailer, it looks great, everything looks great. But I will say, I did notice the lensing is quite different than what you would expect from a traditional Superman film. It's very James Gunn, it's quite digital, lots of different not so subtle moves of the camera, wide angles but with people close to the camera. Like, that's kind of what you're used to with James Gunn recently. It does remind me of Peacemaker, it reminds me of the Suicide Squad and the way that he made the film. So I'm okay with it being like that, although it's not traditional Superman, and the way that he has been shot is quite different. Like, I guess you would look at Superman Lois and think, wow, what epic filmmaking, it's so good, it's been shot incredibly, it's not gonna split fans. Like, everyone agrees Superman Lois look great, but I think with Superman it is gonna split fans because this is quite stylized, it's very James Gunn, and it's not what we're used to seeing with Superman. Yes, when you look at Man of Steel and all the work that Zack Snyder did, it's stylized in a Zack Snyder style, but I think that was more about the grading of Zack Snyder and the way that it was all very dark, and this is quite a change from that. But I think the wide angle lenses definitely made the most impact on me because I wasn't expecting that, to be honest. So each DCU project is going to be very different depending on the director, and this is a James Gunn film, so you have to accept this is going to look like a James Gunn film, which might not be what you expect from a Superman film at the end of the day. But let's move on, because Superman breaks out of some sort of holding cell, and this is a great example of the way that he is shooting, because that is a very wide lens, and the way that it moves as Superman breaks out, it's just a little bit different. But yeah, it looks epic, it looks like a big moment in the film, because I don't know who has captured him. Well, we've seen some BTS stuff, but I'm not going to really get into spoilers with that. So in the meantime, after this, we get shots of this young boy calling for Superman's help, and later in the trailer there's a news report saying that this is in the fictional country of Barovia, and so this little boy calls for Superman's help, and I think Superman will come along and save the day from whatever is happening in this country. And after this, we get to see Superman, who is being heckled and harassed by an angry crowd at Stag Industries. Now, we've seen this in the behind the scenes, we knew who was going to show up, but we do get our first look at Guy Gardner, aka Green Lantern, along with Hawkgirl and Mr. Terrific, and then also Metamorpho after this. So there is a whole ton to get excited about in this trailer about all these characters that they've pulled out of DC Comics. I think Guy Gardner looks funny, like he definitely looks like Guy Gardner, but I just can't take that bowl cut seriously in live action. But it's great to see a Green Lantern in action in the DCU, because the DCEU was incredibly scared of including Green Lanterns, and we had a brief cameo from a Green Lantern in Justice League originally, and obviously that was because they were scared to do a Green Lantern film after the Ryan Reynolds film, so it makes sense. But it's great to see Green Lantern back. Hawkgirl looks good. Obviously we've seen Hawkgirl more recently in the DCEU. And we got Mr. Terrific, who shows up for the first time since Arrow. I think he was cool on Arrow. I liked the Curtis Holt version of the character, and I'm looking forward to this Mr. Terrific, who was actually featured quite a bit in this trailer. So after this, we get a shot of Superman fighting the monster or the kaiju, and that monster looks extremely powerful with the heat breath or whatever it's using to fight off Superman, and I have no idea how this cosmic creature has spawned, but yeah, it looks cool. Looking forward to that. And after this, we get to see Superman and Lois in front of the light rays that you saw from the first look, and it's all moving and everything. It kind of looks like something Brainiac would do. Now, I'm not sure exactly what is the cause of all of that in the background behind them, but it clearly is something cosmic. It's something that's not human or been created by someone on Earth. So looking forward to all of that and finding out more about the specifics. And after this, we get this great shot of Superman and Lois kissing, and they really look the part. And just from this trailer alone, you can tell the chemistry is there, and this was just a really nice shot in the trailer. Now after this, we get to see Superman in the Fortress of Solitude as he holds a Kryptonian robot that has been seemingly damaged. So it seems someone has broken into the fortress. Now I would presume that would be Lex Luthor, of course, because he is a big part of this film and he's one of the main antagonists. And the shot after this, we get to see the fortress seemingly being formed as it protrudes out of the ice. And we've seen something similar on Superman and Lois recently, or a couple of seasons ago, when they formed their new fortress. So it's going to be similar to that, I think. And after this, like I said, we got Metamorpho. Looking forward to that. People were speculating, could this be Brainiac or not, because of those light rays in the background of that one shot earlier in the trailer that we talked about. But this is seemingly Metamorpho, but I can't be 100% sure on that. Now after this, we get the destruction in Metropolis as 3 skyscrapers fall. I think that shows the stakes of what's going on in this film. You know, no one is safe. Despite Superman and all these heroes being here, there is going to be a lot of destruction in Metropolis, and I don't think we're going to go to Smallville much. That's probably just going to be with Clark and his dad, so I don't think Smallville is going to be in danger. And after this, Superman fights someone in the middle of a baseball stadium, or at least I think it's a baseball stadium, and he is seemingly fighting Ultraman, or at least that's what it looks like. So I'm looking forward to that. Ultraman is a big character in the comics. Obviously he's normally associated with the crime syndicate, so looking forward to seeing if that is actually Ultraman. He's extremely powerful. As you can see, Superman is really struggling to hold him back, and I believe he's actually trying to talk to him at one point, so it seems there is a human underneath the mask. Obviously we know that from reading the comics and from seeing Ultraman before, but obviously Superman's going to try and get through to him, but that's not going to work because he is totally against him. Now my question here is, who is the main villain? Is Ultraman the main villain? Is it the Engineer? I don't think it's the Engineer. Is it Lex Luthor? I think he's one of the main villains, but I don't think he's the overarching main villain. Whoever is creating this cosmic disturbance and bringing in the monsters and everything like that, I think that person is the main villain, and it could be Ultraman, so we'll have to wait and see. But after this, we get a shot of Mr. Terrific, who is fighting all these soldiers, and he is in a kind of force field that's been created by his T-spheres, and that looks great, so good to see that once again in live action. And then after this, we get to see Superman and Lois doing the classic kiss as they float up into the sky, and they're in the middle of this shopping mall, and I was just like, wow, looking at that shot, that is classic Superman. We've seen that on Superman and Lois in season 1, now we're seeing it in Superman the movie, so yeah, just I'm all for those classic shots that pay homage to Superman's past. And the final shot of the trailer is of Superman and Lois as they hold hands and hug as all this chaos is going on in the background in Metropolis. Now I have a feeling this could be towards the end of the film, because we know his suit's going to be all mashed up and everything, and I think this is after all the fights with Ultraman, Lex Luthor and everyone, so I believe this is potentially one of the final fights, or just before it, as Superman prepares to step out one last time to take on whoever his main enemy is in this film. So that does it for this video, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully you're looking forward to Superman and all my content that I'm going to be creating. Again, leave me any video suggestions you want me to do down in the comments below. I'm making much more DCU content now, especially that the Arrowverse is over. We are pivoting, so of course there's going to be some teething issues. There's going to be lower views because YouTube's not going to recommend. So I really do appreciate if you guys leave a like, because that would really help out. Also commenting, it gets the engagement up and everything. So thank you guys if you do that. Also subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any future videos. But for now, you can click on the top right corner of the screen to watch my latest video, and I'll catch you guys later. Goodbye.